Hello, welcome to Warriors Within, the podcast that amplifies voices of sickle cell warriors and their families. I am your host, Coco Chanel, here to guide you through the real, raw, and resilient stories of sickle cell warriors and their families and their everyday journeys. I'm here with my wonderful guests, Kristen and Abraham. How are you guys?
We're doing great. How are you, Coco?
It's good to see you guys again.
Thank you for having us here.
I just have to throw this out there because obviously the audience don't know, but we go back. We go back.
Yeah.
This episode is gonna be a little special, y'all, because both of us have two warrior babies with the same kicking name. That go to show we was on the same wavelength, mama. And this warrior is special. Obviously, he gonna be special to me because he got the same name. He hold weight. His name hold weight. But I want you guys to elaborate and tell me you guys' story because you guys are caregivers. And let's go ahead and talk about little Isaiah. Isaiah is a sickle cell warrior. Both of our Isaiahs are sickle cell warriors. They're the strongest. But your Isaiah has overcome some obstacles. So I want you to tell me more because when we met. Let's just talk about that. When we met, our kids were little. Yeah. Now they big. They little big people now. They little big people now. Literally.
Yes,
Literally.
Get ready.
I know. So tell me about Isaiah's journey with his sickle cell.
All right. So Isaiah is 12 years old. So 12 years ago, back in 2013, actually, no. Back in 2012, when I found out I was pregnant, the OBGYN gave me a call and told me I was a carrier for the sickle cell trait. And I was like, wow, that's news to me, because I had asked my mom recently while Abraham and I were dating in college if I was a sickle cell carrier, if I had the sickle cell trait. And she
always asked.
and she told me no. And I'll give you a little backstory. The reason why Abraham asked that is because he's from Nigeria, where he's very familiar with sickle cell, and it has impacted his life in some very adverse ways, losing family members. And even when we were in college, he lost his roommate from sickle cell complications and a best friend in our college program from sickle cell complications. So then, not even a year or two later, after going through those experiences, we found out, I was pregnant. We were excited. Going through the prenatal care, OBGYN calls me at work, you have sickle cell trait. I started crying instantly.
Yeah.
He didn't understand why. He was like, oh, all you have to do is, get the father tested. He gets tested. He may not have the trait. You won't have anything to worry about. We already knew. He didn't know for sure that he had the trait, but he knew it was a very big chance that he did have it because I think it's three out of your siblings?
Yeah, I remember my father telling me 3 of us has a trait. One of us doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your dad was already.
Chance. It's like I thought you didn't have the trait. So I remember that day I had to go in and just get my blood drawn and test to have the trait. But
So your family is already knowledgeable with the fact that,
because I had a lot of cousins. I lost a lot of cousins too. So.
Okay.
Because in Nigeria, they wouldn't have even allowed us to be together.
Wow. Okay.
Right? You can't get married. I don't know if it's still like that, but before you weren't even allowed to get married if both of you carried the trait.
That's informative. That's very informative.
So found out we both have the trait.
Okay.
We go through that. They educated us, telling us about the 25% chance. So we were, being optimistic through the pregnancy, just knowing God was going to work it out. And it was a 75% chance that our son was not going to have sickle cell. Isaiah was born, beautiful, healthy, young man, baby boy.
In 2 weeks
And
later.
then 2 weeks later, get the call from
The doctor. Yeah.
and they told us, hey, Isaiah, he has sickle cell anemia SS. Need you to bring him in to a hematology clinic so he could get into care and they can guide us along the process. I remember that day like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I do too. I never forget. I don't think you ever forget those phone calls when they come through your phone. I think like as a mom, like it goes through your head, like what kind of call? Like this is really like I think it. I agree with you. I still remember the day I was in the car crying, in the car crying.
Most people, they may not recognize what those call means, because when she called me, I was just driving home from class, and I live 10 minutes from school, university, and it's just a straight shot. And when I got that call, 3 minutes later, where am I at?
Yeah, you turned it
I'm
out.
trying to get home.
You do.
One later, where am I at? And I just forgot everything.
You do. I agree.
News was so devastating. I mean, talking about it right now.
I mean, yeah, it's less a day. I agree with you. I totally. It does.
I'm like, okay, where am I? Let me put this GPS in my.
Let me hurry up and
Just
get.
going back
Yep.
for 3 years, but I forgot where my address was at
Yeah.
because my mind was just.
It just went to a whole other place. I think what it is that your brain already starts to calculate those years. You start going like, wait a minute, he what? And then you start going, okay, hold on, this is a journey, and you start pushing the journey. Like you start pushing the journey together, and you like, wait a minute, like this is really happening right now. So to continue, so once you got the newborn screening call, you took him into the doctor, and they elaborated with you. He has sickle cell. How was his journey from there?
So from there, we got working, right? Internet was my best friend. YouTube was my best friend, and just kind of reaching out to different resources in the community to see how can we keep our child safe, how can we keep him healthy. And then when I found out there was a cure, I was like, oh, how are we going to get him cured? This is before Isaiah was even 3 months. We were already
Thinking about the cure.
researching. So the cure back then that we knew of was bone marrow transplant. It's a long process.
It is.
So we knew that wasn't something that may be an option for him right now in that very moment. So we were like, okay, until we can have that option available to him, what are we going to do to keep him healthy? So we just started researching, connecting with even a naturopathic, holistic provider. And we just started concentrating on his nutrition, giving him smoothies every day, making sure he hydrates, putting coconut water in his juice. We kept him in small environments. Like we didn't send him to a traditional daycare. We kept him home with grandma. And then when it was time for him to go to school, he went to like a home daycare where it was only a few kids. We were just like anything we knew that could possibly trigger him having like a sickle cell crisis. We just tried to stay away from that. So hence he didn't really play too much
sports.
Didn't get involved in that too much. And surprisingly, he ended up not eating meat.
Really?
Not eating meat. Because
Like a vegan.
we wanted him to have like a good diet, try to be vegetarian, and we kept him from some sweets. He still liked some of his sweets, but we tried to keep it minimal and just make sure we supplement him with the smoothies and the nutrition and different supplements. Just keep his body safe. I mean, support his body.
Yeah.
And through doing that, I mean, Isaiah, by the time he was 5, he still hadn't had any issues related to sickle cell. He was holding on to his fetal hemoglobin a lot longer. He didn't take any medicine. Like hydroxyurea. He hadn't started that at that time. Even the penicillin,
So
he didn't take that either.
Isaiah just pretty much was like a champion of the family.
Yeah.
He was the healthiest. When I say someone is coughing out the house and everything, Isaiah didn't have that.
He didn't catch.
So, like, I
And as a parent, you be like,
people who are patients with sickle cell are almost always immunocompromised.
yes,
But he was the strongest
Yeah.
in the family.
that's beautiful.
So he just didn't show any symptoms of any stress or any immunocompromisation at all. So when he was 5 years old and we saw that, wait a second, whatever we're doing for Isaiah is working.
It's working.
And what else can we do in our life? Because in my head, based on my background, I just can't hold a regular job. You can't hold a regular job. Because there may be a time I may have to spend 2 weeks in the hospital, a week in the hospital. What else can I do? Because I can't keep tolerating, I'm asking for time off. So that's what inspired us to also start a business.
Okay.
Like Optimal Health.
Okay.
And that is based on looking at individuals' health from a holistic standpoint.
That's beautiful.
That comes also from natural supplement and understanding what's going on in your body and what's the results you want to have. So that restarted from when it was 5 years old, because I want to just look at patients that have diabetes, that have maybe history of stroke, high blood pressure,
Cancer.
what could end up happening to your body. But us having this child now, we're still going through everything and we see the result. We may be up to something.
Yeah, no, you definitely up to something.
So much to really challenge ourselves. I mean, even after we graduated, we were still living like students. And we just wanted to keep them healthy.
That's
so
good.
now it's like 12 years later, it doesn't even know how much inspiration it brought to us.
Yeah.
Because we just wanted to keep them healthy.
And that's good, because the stress levels, it triggers them. And so
He didn't know.
and that's good. To keep it out of sight, out of mind.
Yes.
So I guess my next question is, so after you guys started your business and going on, look, I gotta get to the good part. So let's talk about Isaiah's healing. Let's get to the good part.
Okay.
So we went through the journey. Isaiah didn't go. He hasn't been in much crises, and so you guys actually figured out a way he can get cured. Tell me about the journey about that, because as a caregiver, we always hear it's long, it's hard, it's not the typical, accessible thing. So tell me about your journey with this. How did you get started initially?
Alrighty. So some people watching this may know some stories. I think it was, is it Boozer?
Carlos Boozer.
The
basketball player.
The NBA player who cured his son from sickle cell when he was only like 2 years old by doing a bone marrow transplant from a younger matched sibling. They did have to do in vitro. Him and his wife did in vitro, so they were able to make sure they had a perfect match donor for their son. So when I saw that story, when Isaiah was not even 1 year old, I was like, wow, okay, that's a possibility.
I didn't know about that.
And then, excuse me, I saw another story from a family that was living in Texas. She had a son who had sickle cell, but he had a very bad prognosis. He had multiple crises. He was in and out the hospital. And she said she just prayed. She prayed to God to send her a miracle. And she got pregnant. She had another baby boy, healthy, did not have sickle cell, and was a perfect match for the older son. When I saw that story, I remember telling Abraham about it, and I'm like, that's my prayer. I was like, I want us to have another child. I want it to be a boy, so Isaiah can have someone to grow up with. And I was like, I don't even want to know that I'm pregnant, because I'm just thinking about all that stress that I will experience, or that we will experience, because we'll be worried, what if this child have sickle cell and we're bringing another child into the world that can have sickle cell? So the prayer came true. Exactly how we prayed for it. I found out I was pregnant when I was about maybe 4 months. So a little later on, technology had already gotten so good that they were able
Yeah,
to test
tell
the
you.
baby while he was in the womb, and they were able to let me know, hey, sickle cell free.
Oh.
You know. And then when Caleb was born, I was like, let's save his cord blood,
Yeah.
just in case he's a match. Did all the tests.
Love that part too.
He's perfect match for Isaiah.
2 weeks later.
Perfect match for Isaiah. And I was like, okay, we're gonna get him cured. We're
And
gonna
when
do
we found out that story, we're like, we're ready next week.
He's like, sign him up right now. I don't want my baby to reach a certain age. I know it. I know it doesn't. I know it does. I promise you. I know y'all. I feel you. Because if it could, I would have did the same thing.
All these red tapes, like, you know what? Isaiah doesn't get sick enough.
Yes.
It's not a candidate.
Yeah, and that's the worst because. So, like, obviously, both for Isaiah's, obviously, that's the issue, obviously, I have. And I found that to be crazy because I was like, wait, so he has to be sick a certain amount of times in order to be a candidate.
Yes.
And I was like, this is so sad.
It is.
It's just so sad. So, I want to know, how did you move past that hiccup? Because that's one hiccup that they, like you said, they will debunk you if you aren't.
I'm not going to even lie. So when we consulted with the bone marrow transplant team, they were like, okay, at this time, not really a good candidate for, you could check back periodically. Maybe some things will change. Maybe there'll be some advances in the medical field. And when they kind of shied us away, we sort of turned away from the
I can believe it.
The medical care. Well, having him engaged in the medical care consistently. So there was a period of about maybe 3 to 5 years, like Isaiah was not seeing a regular medical doctor.
Nothing.
He wasn't seeing any specialists, maybe the pediatrician here and there, but he was not engaged. We weren't engaged with any hematologist because
you do lose face.
So backwards to me.
It is. It makes you frustrated as a mother. It really does.
I could cure him now and prevent him from having to go through all of that, but we can't do it because it's a risk. And looking back at it now, I do kind of understand that risk. In that moment, I didn't, because I'm like, I know he's supposed to get cured. This is divine. Like, God sent Caleb to our family to cure his older brother. I know this is what's supposed to happen, but they're like, hey, I know you have the faith, but we still got rules and stuff we have to follow.
Yeah, it's our friend protocol.
So I'll fast forward. We always had in our mind, hey, no matter what, we're going to get him cured. If we got to travel out the country, if we got to sell our house because the insurance won't pay for it because he's not a candidate, we were just like, no matter what, we will find a way.
Yeah, you start to think of that as a parent. I understand exactly what you're saying, because I'm like, if I got to offer the world at this point to get you help, we gonna do it.
One thing that also got me to that was during COVID, it was very tough because we didn't know what COVID was gonna do to.
I agree. You really didn't. As a sickle cell parent, you were scared.
Like I said, Isaiah didn't really know he had sickle cell because he really never had so much issue. Maybe pain here, take Tylenol, and everything's fine. But there was a day I had to take him to the hospital. And every time I take him to the ER, we park and we walk. But one day we're just like, Daddy, help me, I'm in pain. And me, as a father, and there's nothing I could provide you, it's tough. So even walking to that ER and you want to give them ibuprofen, you want to give them Torodol.
Yeah, morphine, all that.
Works for them. Just give them, but they got to follow the protocol steps. And
they got to do the fentanyl, everything else.
And then started throwing up. And I was like, okay, we have to tell him now. He was 8 years old. I said, yeah, you have something called sickle cell. This is what sickle cell is. Pull up the iPad and show him the videos and everything, like your blood gets stuck. That's why you're having the pain. But guess what? We have a plan for you to get cured next year. Caleb is the perfect match. It was like a relief for him to really let that out, but it was just tough. So when you have a child with sickle cell and them understanding what they're going through, and then just them also knowing that you are here for them, it's a big relief.
It is.
Because for me keeping that away from me, I thought I was doing good and everything, but also it was me facing fear.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how I was gonna take it. I don't want you to feel like you're inferior to
Yeah.
other kids.
Yeah.
You know, for some reason, like sickle cell warriors, they are way stronger than most people.
They're very strong.
One of the smartest people I know in this world, they have sickle cell. And they just always know, like, you know what, I may not be able to go to the library tomorrow to study, but today I'm going to take the opportunity and make sure
Their resilience is.
they're so strong.
Yes, they are.
So us going through that is something big. And after now in this year now, it's a little bit easier. So with the resilience and everything he has to go through, it's almost more like empowerment, because I feel like with this condition, it gives a lot of strength.
It does.
But now it hasn't gone away because it still has so much potential to be an advocate. Just like your Isaiah also,
Yeah.
and the sickle cell warriors. Other patients will look at them, no matter what condition they're going to, be like, wow, the future is yours.
Literally.
Make it. And we could be great together when we all understand the
yes.
condition. And then now, let me now go back to the issue when it comes to people understanding what we're dealing with. We all have to be advocates
Yes.
of this condition.
You definitely.
Have to. And
Yeah, definitely. We have to be advocates. And just to kind of go back a little bit to, like, how did we get Isaiah? How did we come across that opportunity to get him cured? So when we visited the BMT clinic, a local BMT clinic, maybe when he was about 10, 9 or 10, they told us the same thing again. I'm like, what? 5 years later, still the same thing? But
Can't be.
now, Isaiah, he has had a few complications. You know, he's still not a candidate. No, nothing yet. Nothing as of yet. Some stuff coming down the pipeline, but nothing yet. Even with a perfect match sibling, they still wouldn't recommend it.
yeah.
So shortly after that, or maybe I'm not really sure after that, we went to a conference. The same conference that we're at now.
The same conference. Oh my God.
Isn't it funny how the universe works in divine timing?
We came to a conference about three years ago. I want to say there was a presentation going on, and I think they were talking that presentation was focusing on that transition period when the
Pediatrician
kids
to
go
adults.
from pediatrics and they transition to adult, and how the level of the care varies so much from place to place for adults.
It does.
They don't get that same type of care they get as pediatrics. So Abraham, he nudged me. He was like, "Go say something. Go share your story. Go. See if somebody can help us in any kind of way. Bring up the issue that we're facing." So I went up there. I addressed my concerns like, "Hey, I have a son. He has sickle cell. Good prognosis. Very mild complications, but he has a perfectly matched sibling. We want to get him cured. We need to get him cured, but they're saying that he's not eligible. He's not a candidate." So some of the panelists spoke. There was one panelist, she was basically agreeing with the current providers, like, "Hey, no, he's probably not a good candidate for a BMT.
Issues and everything's
Because
fine,
of the
perfectly
risk.
Fine. Don't take no risk about this at all. But my whole mindset was, we're doing everything in our power to keep him healthy.
Right.
I mean, making smoothies for him.
Yeah.
putting
Yeah.
stuff that
They don't realize that the holistic part is a lot.
when he goes to college, that's what I'm thinking.
And we aren't here.
When he goes to puberty.
Yeah,
know?
and his body starts changing.
Yes.
And then why wait? He's strong.
Yeah.
You know, he hasn't had that many complications, so his body should be strong to go
Through that process.
That type of
Agreed.
procedure. So, anyways, the session ended. We walked outside.
And the doctor walked up to you.
A hematologist came up to us from a hospital in Washington, D.C. It's like, hey, I heard your story. I think we can help you. We have this trial. We do bone marrow transplants for patients with sickle cell. I'm like, okay. What's the criteria? What
Yeah.
the criteria? He needs to just have a matched sibling. Have SS and maybe have had some crisis here and there.
Crisis here and there.
I'm like, okay.
So guess what? Oh, I'm in pain. Let's go to ER.
Come on, Caleb.
So we exchanged information. He connected me with the BMT team because
Okay.
he's the hematologist at the Children's Hospital, but he wasn't on the bone marrow transplant team. Connected me with the team there. Then we started, talking, and they started getting, getting his records and everything, and consulting us, and just laid out the process step by step.
Smooth. So easy.
Yeah, just the transition was so smooth. Like, I'm like, is this how it
It's
should
supposed to be.
It made me start thinking about the health system in general. Because we can't really compare. If you're from this area and this is what
Yeah.
you feel like, okay, this is how it is.
Yep.
But to go somewhere else and see, oh, this is how stuff can be done, it opens up your eyes. Like, okay, there are some gaps.
Yeah.
There are the system is broken, it
Definitely.
in certain areas more than others.
Yeah.
So they told us about the Sun trial. First obstacle, right? Insurance. Insurance is always
Always the biggest one.
a big deal. We were self-employed at that time.
Oh boy.
He wasn't working for a system. I wasn't working for a system. We did not have insurance at that time.
Yeah.
I think we ended up getting the marketplace plan,
Yeah.
but the marketplace plan is only local
Literally.
for the state of Florida.
For the state of Florida. Out of state.
State. So I'm like, okay, how are we gonna make this work? They told us they have programs available. So maybe we still could have made it work some kind of way. I'm not too sure. So what we did, I'm like, okay, how can we get insurance? I tried to get private insurance. I couldn't get the private. I couldn't insure Isaiah for the pre-existing condition of sickle
Conditions.
cell.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? I've heard people talk about this, but to actually be going through it, and I'm like, this is still happening.
So another hiccup. Another one.
So then we looked into getting insurance through our business. I was like, okay. That was a lot smoother than I thought it would be. It was a little expensive, but it was worth it.
Yeah, no, it's so worth it. For the cause that we're going for, it's worth it. It's worth it.
So we were able to get a plan. They told us what were good plans that work with their hospital, and it was United Health. And I was like, okay. Then I checked with the plan that was available for us to get through our group. The only plan that was available was United Health.
I knew it was coming. I knew it.
I'm like, oh, perfect.
Okay.
So the first summer we wanted to get try to get him cured in 2023. It didn't quite work out with the timeline and everything and the insurance. So we started planning for 2024.
Okay.
Which gave us a little bit more time to get stuff in motion because we had to pick up. We had to
Caleb's weight.
Oh, yeah. The other thing was
His brother.
Caleb is a younger brother.
Okay.
So he was a little young to be a donor.
Okay. So what's the age limit that they made him wanted him to
I
be
think
at?
the limit was 55 pounds.
Okay.
But at that time, 2023, it was like 56, 57. So it just barely made that cutoff.
Oh my God, he
But
just
They want him to be a certain weight.
okay.
So I will fast forward a little bit before she continues. So when we actually did the cure and they harvested the bone marrow or stem cells, they were like, out of everyone we've done this for, he actually donated the most out
Wow.
of that little time.
That little baby
Yes.
donated the most stem cells.
Yeah, he actually donated the most. So to his, I mean, back then it was just already programmed. This is your purpose. This is what you're supposed to do. So when I took him in, okay, I'm going to be in the room with you. They're going to have, and they were like, oh, we had enough. They didn't even go through the whole time they're supposed to harvest his stem cells. Like, we have enough, way too much that we need for his brother.
I love that. I love that.
Like 8 years old or 7 years old back then.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
got the most out of it.
Yeah.
It was
To sit there to fight for Isaiah, he's a warrior too.
When we talk about Isaiah, Caleb was always like, "What about me?"
Exactly.
has my
Yes. Caleb, you play a big part.
But so 2024 came around, right? So remember I told you we're self-employed. We have our own business.
yeah.
So one of the business, we have a medical center. So medical center part was pretty much covered for the most part, but we also have a pharmacy.
Okay.
So we're both pharmacists.
Okay.
So we usually cover the pharmacy part. So at that time, I think the pharmacist we had an emergency with her mother. So she had to step down
Yeah.
and she couldn't work. So we had to find coverage for someone like within
Within
2
1
yeah,
week.
like 1 to 2 weeks.
We already had a plan
before we
leaving.
were leaving.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Luckily,
They talk about business owners. This is the hard part right
It
here.
was very,
something worked out. Something
we're just
worked out.
juggling.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you just have your mind focused
Yeah.
on one.
Because you had a goal. The goal was to get Isaiah cured, and that.
I think the greatest thing is, imagine when you're dealing with this condition, right? And I was just like, I don't care where we go to. We could go to Switzerland, go anywhere, just get him cured.
Yeah.
We're just going down the street to Washington DC. And we have all these issues.
And that's what's so crazy. It's really right down the street, like you said. It's literally right down the street.
I had to go with my daughter or my son in the huddle train and drive. It wasn't an issue at all. And we just got our place for 4 months. And we had one of the best times we had in 8 years or 10 years.
Yeah.
And
That's
this is
so
like
beautiful.
So even when he got the transfusion, to this lab, we came home. I'm like, oh, we just walked to the hospital. Wait, you walked all the way here? No, we're down the street. But it just recovered so fast because that mindset for the whole family was put in. It's a family effort.
Yeah.
And we had cousins, aunties, grandparents that were like, what do you need? We're going to support you.
That's
And
beautiful.
she wanted some food. And they had to bring it up to her or ship it up to her. But it's just like everybody was just so supportive. So having a child with sickle cell is not just your drama.
No.
It's the whole family.
It is.
We all have
The whole
to find
family
a
is
way to
affected.
come together and make sure we strive for each other to make sure that child lives a normal life.
Yeah.
And I think after all these years and what I've seen is, man, it's a commitment. And now it's not even about the family, it's just a whole community. And when it comes to having patients that go donate bone marrow or just know your status, can you cure someone else? It's a certain age. I may have aged out of it, but you could cure someone else.
Yeah.
And that is
It can help out somebody.
so it's a
Yeah.
big commitment, and it's great that we all have to know that when you have someone with sickle cell, it's a whole commitment,
Yeah.
and we all have to be on board. And it's just that's what made it easier for us.
I love that. So now, to give me a brief summary, how is Isaiah kicking and moving now?
So Isaiah's about to come up on his 1-year anniversary post transplant on the 19th.
19th, yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Sickle cell day was sickle cell day of last year.
Yes.
Was when I actually got infused with
Yes.
Caleb's stem cells
Okay.
on the 19th of 2024.
So he's about to come up on a year being sickle cell free. So what,
And he is
I was going to say, what does he enjoy the most now?
Isaiah. His personality is
It's
coming
changed.
out more.
It is? Okay.
changing. He is thriving. Isaiah, when you look at him in the face, he just looks so vibrant,
Like different.
healthy.
I
He
can
wants to start
imagine.
playing sports.
Oh,
Now, I gotta go.
you know you gotta be a soccer. Yeah, now you gotta come up with some
Caleb
jerseys.
already play soccer, but now Isaiah's like, he got hands up to him.
Your hands are full
He
now.
goes out on his own now. He
Yeah.
swims, get mango from the
See?
tree, stuff he
in the
would normally
water.
Things that he wouldn't do before.
do before.
Thing.
And that's beautiful because now, like you said, it's the and I can just imagine his little face.
Yeah.
One thing they told us is when he went through the process, right? Like his hair might fall out and it may change. So I was like, okay, nobody cares about that. His hair really fell out and his new hair started growing in. But I'm like, did this change his personality?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that because that's usually the thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
Guess
eating
what?
more.
He started eating meat.
Caleb loves steak. Caleb loves steak. So now I want sliders. I want this. I'm like, wait a second. You don't even eat this stuff.
Isaiah done became a whole new changed man. I love this. He said, I am sickle cell free, a whole new man free. I love this.
Mango from the tree. He's eating this. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is just a different person. It's only less than a year. And as a father, I forgot he has sickle cell.
See, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Because
just about
before
to
I
say
just
that.
heard someone cough in the house, boom, 3 a.m., I will get up. What's going on?
Yeah.
But now I just don't think about it anymore.
Yeah.
And
It's just a piece. It's just
a
like
peace
a
of
peace
mind.
of mind.
Yeah.
I feel like we're entering a new chapter. Like
Yes.
feel more free. Like we could travel. You know, I'm not worried
we
about
went to
leaving.
Jamaica
Yeah,
them
with
also.
family.
Now it was in the ocean, it was in the water with everybody. I didn't even think about.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Hydrating.
Yeah, imagine you traveling on the plane, you up in the altitude.
Yes.
Think like, oh, is this
And
gonna
then that's what,
affect
yes, that's exactly what you think. That's exactly what you think.
It's a peace of mind. And
It's
I feel like
beautiful.
we have to start looking like who could benefit from this.
Yeah.
What are the criteria and make it so simple? Because as with us as being healthcare providers, it was so freaking complicated that was so tough for us to really understand. So now it's just like, okay, this organization made it easy for us. The Sickle Cell Disease Foundation, we met people that just told us the real narrative and what to expect and just brought it all together in one weekend. So I would just like everybody to just look into options and possibilities and
Yes.
just move forward.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we heard the door, and we heard the word no so many times. We had the door shut on us so many times, but that's not the end of the story. So at the end of the day, we are speaking to everyone now that's listening to this. We always gonna be in this battle and chapter because it doesn't help. It doesn't end with Isaiah.
Yeah.
Isaiah was just the beginning.
Yeah, he's just the beginning.
So now I'm really ready to just
Yeah.
fight this battle now and show everyone that sickle cell and having those compromises and those issues was a story of the past.
Yeah.
Now, these possibilities that you could be cured and what are your options? And let's start from there. So
And his
son's
new
Isaiah,
journey.
and everything like this just start from here. Like we are telling a new narrative of sickle cell disease in America.
You said you want to continue this journey. It didn't just, it started with Isaiah, and go ahead because I want you to finish.
I think the journey really started with devastation and misery with my friends, my roommate, my family members. But the hope started with Isaiah. Like when you believe in something and you put God first,
Yes.
and you saw the result, it's like, oh wow! After
Anything's
all these years, like I have gray hair now. It just came out of nowhere. All this came with COVID because you just didn't know what COVID would do with sickle cell
Yeah.
patients. And now Isaiah is cured from sickle cell. So now we have to continue this effort
Yes.
and just empower other people to, you have everything you need.
Yeah.
All is just maybe with government, legislative, and bringing everything down to one. What do you need and what can we do to raise awareness? There are great organizations out there doing the most or
Yeah.
doing so much. But 3 years ago,
Support.
3 years ago, just 3 years ago, we had a child that had sickle cell and we didn't know where to turn.
And now,
Now
look
it's
at
cured.
exactly.
A year later.
Look at my
So I'm telling you, I can sleep peacefully at night.
yeah,
So I think that journey is not, it's just the beginning of something greater to happen.
yeah,
And all the patients out here in South Florida, even around the world, I have people that are calling me. It's just what organization is doing this, what organization is doing that. But there's hope, there's treatment,
Yeah.
Yes.
and there's cure, there's different medication, there's so much options now. And we are healthcare professionals. So sometimes, some people don't believe in the science.
yeah,
My son did a trial. For me to even say yes to the trial,
Right.
it goes a long way. And for me, having a doctorate in pharmacy, I know everything the pharmacy what has to offer.
yeah.
But having a child that's cured from sickle cell, there's no much peace than that.
Like you said, it's definitely a journey you gotta have
She
faith
knows
on.
whenever we have to go to the hospital, I'm the one that goes. Pack my bag up. I'm going. I don't know how long I'm going to stay.
I love
My
it.
duffel bag, I'm going.
He said, "I got the duffel bag and I'm going."
Throughout his whole life, I only have to do that like 2-3 times. His whole life.
Yeah,
And I'm only there for like a couple of hours.
Isaiah's blessed.
And, so it was blessed, but it was just still the awareness and just having that. She did all the research and told me everybody that's got cured. Oh, this person did this person did that.
So you see it's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
So, but back then, I was so depressed.
Yeah.
Because I just knew how many people I lost to sickle cell disease.
Yeah.
And talking to family members and everything, they didn't give you no much hope. They just
don't.
look at you that, how could this happen to you? You're a medical provider and you have, why didn't you know this?
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, I have a smile on my face now.
yeah.
But now I went through all that because when God wants to use you,
Yeah.
man,
Yes,
you
He
just
will.
don't know. You don't dictate what God's going to put you through.
Agreed.
But you know what? I could swallow the pride and everything. But now we could look back and every other family that dealing with this condition, there are many solutions out there. So that's one thing I want to push the Sickle Cell Disease Foundation for. You guys have so much understanding, research, and resources around America, Caribbean, even across the whole world. Now let's just have a real community that we could actually now empower our patients or our warriors to live and strive for their optimal health.
As they should. I want to give a quick, so I can wrap this up. I want to leave a second for you guys to give a shout out for your business or where they could find you and follow you.
Okay. Alrighty. So we are the founders of Optimal Health Medical Center, which is located in Miami Gardens, Florida. You can find us. We do have an Instagram at Optimal Health Med. So it's our Instagram and Facebook account. And our website is optimalhealthmc.com. And what it is a full service medical center serving primary people with primary care conditions, mental health, pharmacy services. We also offer social services and just a full comprehensive center. So
So you guys be sure to check both of them out and give Isaiah my love and tell him to keep fighting. He has a journey and awareness to keep making for all the warriors. Like you said, he just started it. He picked up the mantle. He has a lot to go with. But thank you for joining me. And that concludes our episode with Warriors at the end. Thank you.